we don't have an accurate inventory that we can pull up of what we have where. That is not the same as saying we can't do that because waste, fraud, and abuse has occurred.
So in my world,
yeah,
that's waste.
How is that waste?
If I give you $1 billion and you can't tell me what happened to it, that to me is wasteful. That means you are not responsible.
Oh boy, we got a spicy one for you today, folks. I'm Richie McGinnis with Politibrawl, and you guys are going to have to tune into this Jon Stewart exchange with Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks. It gets pretty spicy because Jon Stewart is centering in on a topic that we're all talking about today: government waste, fraud, and abuse, specifically at the Pentagon. Let's tune in and find out exactly what Stewart has to say.
Do you feel like these are unfair questions of somebody within a department of that size and scope? Do you feel that it's somewhat unfair?
You have a particular thing you really want to talk about and you're asking me other questions, but I don't think it's unfair to ask me about the audit. It's absolutely the case that the United States military should be able to pass an audit, and we've got to be on that pathway to get there.
But don't you think that does speak to the larger point that we're trying to get at, which is good journalism uncovers corruption? And
okay, I mean, good journalism does uncover corruption, but I'm not sure these two things are linked. An audit is not.
But they are.
Okay, so you need to explain to me, do you understand what an audit does and the degree to which it is linked to the question that you're asking?
I believe so.
Okay, go ahead. Give me your explanation.
No, I don't mind learning. So,
patronize much?
What I would suggest is that the audit that they have in the military doesn't really look at whether or not there's efficacy. It's just whether they got delivered the thing that they ordered. And
that is any audit. That is any audit. That is true.
But generally, those audits aren't $400 billion for Raytheon and $1.7 trillion for a plane that doesn't seem to be doing. Like, there is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits and waste, fraud, and abuse are not the same thing. So let's decompose these pieces for a moment.
Please educate me on
Sure.
What
so an audit is
difference
exactly what you just described, which is, do I know what was delivered to which place?
Right.
The ability to pass an audit, or the fact that the DoD has not passed an audit, is not suggestive of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is completely false right there. So
what is
now it's a question of, it's suggestive that we don't have an accurate inventory that we can pull up of what we have where. That is not the same as saying we can't do that because waste, fraud, and abuse has occurred.
So in my world, that's waste.
In everybody's world, that's waste.
How is that waste?
If I give you $1 billion and you can't tell me what happened to it, that to me is wasteful. That means you are not responsible. But if you can't tell me where it went, then what am I supposed to think? And when there has been reporting, I mean, this is not, look, I'm not saying this is on you and that you caused this, but I think it's a tough argument to
I'm pretty
make
sure I didn't cause it.
an $850 billion budget to an organization that can't pass an audit and tell you where that money went. Like, I think most people would consider that somewhere in the realm of waste, fraud, or abuse, because they would wonder why that money isn't well accounted for. And especially when they see food insecurity on military bases, and they see—
You want to talk about that? Because that's a good, we should be talking, I mean,
well,
I'm trying to understand.
She's trying to change the subject, obviously, because she doesn't want to stay on the waste, fraud, and abuse. Let's talk about food readiness here.
I understand where you're trying to go, other than the dollars, which really bother you.
I think it doesn't really bother me.
Really bothers everybody.
I think it's all connected.
Okay.
I think
tell me that story. Tell me how you're thinking about that.
When I see a State Department get a certain amount of money and a military budget be 10 times that, and I see a struggle within government to get people like more basic services, and then that department that got that, I mean, we got out of 20 years of war and the Pentagon got a $50 billion raise. Like, that's shocking to me. Now, I may not understand exactly the ins and outs and the incredible magic of an audit, but I'm a human being who lives on the earth and can't figure out how $850 billion to a department means that the rank and file still have to be on food stamps. Like, to me, that's fucking corruption. I'm sorry. And if that blows your mind, and if you think like that's like a crazy agenda for me to have, I really think that that's institutional thinking, and that it's not looking at the day-to-day reality of the people that you call the greatest fighting force in the world. So I get back to this idea of like, I'm not looking to pick a fight with you, but I am surprised at that the reaction to these questions are, you don't know what an audit is, bucko. Like, that's just weird to me.
Okay, on food insecurity, major priority for us. A lot of funds are going toward that. The biggest issues we have found, first of all, we have significantly increased funding on food insecurity. And we do think we are getting much better on that. We believe some of the challenges we face are not what you often think of as, food insecurity as hunger. They're really around, do we have food available? For instance, as people come on and off shifts, is it healthy food? Those are the types of food insecurity issues we are seeing in and around our military installations. We have increased pay 2 times in a row here. We've done 4.6% pay raise last year. We've asked for a 5.2% pay raise this year. We've also increased basic allowances and increased housing and pay and other allowances. So overall, we definitely think we need to increase the spending that we are putting forward toward our service members and their families. We're putting our money where our mouth is. Another big area is childcare. Spending a lot more money on childcare. That includes both childcare facilities, and it includes benefit that allows folks to go out on the economy to get childcare and have that subsidized by the government. Those are all examples of ways we're trying to put money forward for our service members and their families.
Okay, folks. All right. So that entire end of the question, I mean, you can just see how much she was dodging Jon Stewart's question about waste, fraud, and abuse by focusing on food readiness, which really had nothing to do with Jon Stewart's main question, which is, why is it that these audits aren't coming up with where exactly the money is going? And her dodge of an answer tells you everything you need to know. I mean, she doesn't have an answer for that. That's why she does the typical bureaucrat thing to dodge around Jon Stewart's main question. And the fact that Jon Stewart is a lefty and he's going after the waste, fraud, and abuse should tell you everything you need to know about this moment in history, because Donald Trump has now captured that portion of the left who was anti-war, who were pro-free speech. I used to be part of that coalition. And now Trump is effectively saying what the lefties were saying 20 years ago, which is no more foreign wars and let's audit the defense. So Pete Hegseth is in there now, and it's going to be a wild ride as these bureaucrats cling to their money. But if you folks stay tuned, we're going to be on top of it. I appreciate you guys watching. And I'm just going to finish you out with another Trump clip from a debate way back in 2016. And let's just see if Trump was on the right side of history regarding this topic or not. I'll let you guys decide.
The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake.